Hello. Last time we talked about inline elements, blockable elements, and inline block elements. That is the combination of uh, these two. Yeah. So this time I thought in this part, maybe we should dive into code a little bit and see how to render our code into browser, like while we are changing the stuff, how it reflect inside browser, and it might uh, give you a little bit, it clear out your understanding of how things work out and how you should improve things and improve your concept because these things will play out huge role when you dive into more advanced or intermediate stuff depending on where you stand basically. So let's just shift to code. This is one folder that I also upload on GitHub as a repository, and right now I'm inside block level folder, and this work in progress wip.html, it's open, it's currently blank, and there is a finished version of it. So if you can go to GitHub and let me show you quickly. Here is the link, github.com najamsk fronthand 101. You can pause the video. I will also include this link, like whatever works for you. Yeah. So switching back to code, and let's start with basic. So you create a new file into your file system, Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever you have. Call it whatever you want, like one.html, index.html, home.html. I'm calling it work in progress. So the basic thing you can do is doc type. We will be using doc type HTML5. So if you are using Visual Studio Code, I am right now using Visual Studio Code. So it comes with IntelliSense or autocomplete. So if I type this bracket, this angle bracket, yeah, the red one that's showing up. So let me zoom a bit. If I type doc, doc, sorry, doc type, you see it's auto giving me autocomplete completion, and I pick the doc type element. So it renders the HTML5 doc type. Let's do it again one more time. You type this angle bracket and then exclamation mark, and it gives you a hint. It's also telling you this is HTML5 document. So I type enter, and that's it. It's auto completing it. Now the after doc type, our first and most important element is HTML tag itself or HTML element itself. So I open the bracket again, type HTML, and it gives you the auto suggestion again. I type enter, close the bracket, and it's also include the this closing pair. This one that is I'm highlighting right now. Yeah. So this thing. Now everything goes in between these HTML elements. So I make a new line between them, and then let's say we will have a p tag. So as soon as I'm creating an opening bracket for p tag or opening pair, it will also close it automatically in Visual Studio Code. Yeah. So for p tag, this is the opening pair, and this is the closing of p tag. With closing, you have slash np, and then your normal angle brackets or arrow brackets. Yeah. So inside p tag, we can say this is our bracket type. This is our first paragraph. So this is our basic page. Now, as we said, like we can also include a little bit metadata that will help browser to render stuff, and also like include things that search engines like Google and Bing or whatever search engine you are using, they are looking for example, a title of your page, description of your page, and things like that. For now, we will just include title element. So this is awesome website. Okay, then let's go with this thing. So now what we can do, uh, we have this thing, and we can open this in browser and to see how it looks like. Yeah, and here you go. This is our first paragraph. Let me zoom in for you, and you can see title is rendering here. Awesome website. How I open it? Inside your file explorer, Windows Explorer, whatever you are using, you can double click the file or open with browser, and you might have Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Edge, Internet Explorer, whatever option you have, just click on it and it will load this thing into browser. Yeah. So now, just to make sure if this is all working correctly, if we just add something at the end, another line, and save it, and then come to our browser again and refresh the page. So you see, as we are changing code, and then we come to browser and refresh it, we will see our changes. So that means this baseline tooling or this basic setup is working for you, and you are good to go. So now go back to code a little bit. As we discussed, we have like many elements inside block level category, and some popular are, if I open this finish page again, these are the block line elements. Let me copy their inside here, including pre-tag itself. So if I scroll down, you see p-tag is block level element, h1, h2, h3. So h1 is heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, heading 5, heading 6. So total you have 6 level of headings. Then UL is unordered list, ordered list, definition list, pre-tag, that is using for pre-formatted text, like if you are trying to share some code sample that has indentation, so pre-tag will honor these kind of things. HR is horizontal rule, and block quote is normally if you are including quote from some uh, famous person like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. It could be anyone else, like your company CEO, yourself, to go crazy with it. And address element, these are all block level elements. So as we said, these level elements take full width. Yeah. And what other properties they have? So inside finish element, if I come here and copy this thing here, yeah. So they always start with a new line. That means they won't have any neighbor in same line. Nothing will be on their left, nothing will be there on the right side. They take 100% horizontal space. This is same as this one. Uh, so that means like if they are inside a container that is, let's say, 500 pixel wide, if I put in that container an H1, an order list, or any block level element, it will also be a 500 pixel wide element. Yeah, it will take all the available space. 100% width it will consume. Yeah, will respect width and height and CSS properties. So if I have this, I will show in browser as well. This p tag, it only contains one line. Yeah, let's copy it and make another p tag. Sorry. Hmm, I'm just copying a stuff from to make this paragraph bigger. Yeah, so I think this will do that quick. So as you can see, this p tag only have one line. This one has uh, four lines, and as you can see in code, it has bigger height. Yeah, based on the content inside. what content it's wrapping around. So although by default, if I show you the website and if I refresh the page, zoom out a bit. So as you can see, this is our first element, first paragraph, and this is our second paragraph. So they are taking by default height based on their content, yeah, how much content is inside them. So if you right click inspect, and then you have this p tag, yeah. You can see its height, it's under the white thing is 18 pixel. The white bubble that was showing here, just notice it again, is almost 19 pixel, 798.29 into 18.29. So round it off, it's 19 pixel into height. You can also notice this thing here. If I click the computed tab here, you can see how this paragraph, what are the dimensions, is 798 and again 18 point something, so 19 pixel. And if you click on the next paragraph, yeah, is 798 into 109 or 110. So this one is much bigger. So by default, they will take height of their content. But if we go to the styling and CSS, we can change the height of block level elements. We can say, okay, whatever content is inside, we don't care. Just 2 pixel, take 2 pixel or let's say 100 pixel height. So now you can see exactly in the white bubble is 100 pixel height, and I can show you in computed as well 100 pixel height, and you can see this blue selection gets bigger. So now although the content is only 19 or 10 pixel in height, box itself that is wrapping that content now is 100 pixel because we are forcing it side. So we can, these block level elements, they honor the height properties inside CSS or inside styling. So that's what it meant. Will respect width and height of CSS properties. Yeah. Horizontal and vertical margins both work. What it means, like padding and margins, these are actually the spaces. So let me just remove this thing. Now you see those orange areas and the blue one. So blue one is actually the uh, content area of that paragraph where content is rendering. This is our first paragraph other line, yeah, this line. So blue is where the actual thing, the actual content area. The orange boxes or lines are actually the margins or actually the spaces. So margins are actually the spaces between two elements, and padding is the space between box, boundary, and content itself. So let me first show you the this and why these margins are appearing, because we didn't, when you load browser without any CSS modification, browser have their own defaults, yeah, like how much bold one element can be, yeah, how links will appear like by default blue color, and same goes with spacing. So certain elements, different browser will have different margin and spacing. So these are called browser defaults or browser styles, and you can reset them by using your own code. You use when we will dive into CSS, you will see these kind of details. But for now, we can change it. So if I select this p tag again, and this style attribute means all the styling I'm doing, it will only apply to this p tag, not the tag under it, just this one. So I can come here and I say margin dash or hyphen bottom, and I say okay 100 pixel. So now I'm telling this paragraph that include 100 pixel of vertical space, yeah, under you or at bottom, yeah, bottom of you. So this is margin bottom. Same can be said about margin top. Let's say for top we want. So you see this line is now pushed down because we have top margin or top spacing. And since we don't have anything left and right, it's kind of like almost left line. If we go to compute it, we can see those spaces as well. 90 from top, 100 from bottom. Yeah. What we can do, let's say we can say 10 pixel here. It goes up. Don't mind about where I'm changing the code. Like, sometime I'm working in the style section, sometime I'm working here. These things come with experience and they are not big deal. If you like watch any video on browser dev tooling, you will get all these tricks, and along the line you will notice like where I'm clicking, and this kind of layout is same in Chrome and Edge, and in Firefox it's almost same as well. Little bit styling and little bit other tab order will be might be different, yeah. So, but this concept of box, this is called box actually, yeah. And this styling, and this is your element area where all your HTML is there. This is common in almost every popular browser, yeah. So don't worry about it. What we can do, we can also like specify margin left and margin right, 100 px from left. So you can see now it's pushing itself from margin left, yeah. We can apply some other things like background dash color, and color should be enough. So why I put background color, so you can see this is your P element, this is block level element. So let's call it a box for now. Yeah. So this is your box. Yeah. It's also get highlighted when I click, like when I hover over this inner thing. So you can see how this box is like arranged. This is your content area where your text is like goes inside. Yeah. This is your text actually, and this text is wrapped by another box that is called padding. We didn't touch padding until now, but soon we will see. And padding is wrapped inside another box that is called border, and border is wrapped with another box that is called margin. So this is how this onion kind of box work. Like one box wrapping another, and then get wrapped by another box. So what padding is, as you can see, is the space between your content and border. So if I apply border now to this p tag, I say border 2px, 2 pixel of width or thickness, solid style, and it should be yellow to have a contrast. Yeah. So you can see this border is like touching content, this T alphabet. Yeah. So there is no space between the boundary or border and the content itself. What we can do, we can use padding, because if you keep, for spacing, if you keep doing the margin, this will not affect it because margin is outside spacing. Inside box you will have padding. So padding, when I'm not specifying padding left or right or top and only using the padding keyword, that means apply padding on each side of the box, top, left, bottom, left, right. Yeah. So let's say 30 pixel of padding. You see, now we have a gap inside the box around the content. So there is space between left side of border and content, bottom side, top side, and the right side as well. So let's go back to the code. So this it was horizontal and vertical margins slash padding, both will work. Just check. This is finished one. One is also like same as work in progress. I just wanted to type stuff a bit while explaining things to you. And there is nothing much going on. I just use some UL and LIs and stuff like that. If I copy all this thing and paste it here, save it, refresh the page, you see how browser is rendering all these block level elements. And this is the styling is comes from browser defaults. So since I'm not doing any styling right now, I have zero style from my side. Browser is styling this heading one as much bigger heading, much bolder, and this is goes all down to the level 6 of heading. Now let's click this Explorer icon and shift towards inline elements. So again, same thing. We start with doc type. We use HTML. But Visual Studio Code is helping out and auto closing the tags. So now what we can do inside HTML, one thing, yeah, inside HTML we will have a header, a head actually, and a body element. So head is used for again to help our browser and search engines. So we can say title, inline element, and inside body what we want to show user. Maybe uh maybe start with simple text. Okay, this is hello. Do you like Minecraft? So first, what we do, we will open this thing in browser inline. So this is the default. You can see nothing special there. Now let's start using some inline elements. So few that I use mostly is strong. And maybe we want Minecraft to link with Minecraft website. So we use a tag or hyperlink tag for href. Href is the attribute. So now a little bit more. We know these things are with angle brackets or arrow brackets. These are the elements. And inside elements, we can have attributes. So this href that is showing in yellow for me based on my theme might have different color for you. This is an attribute. So elements have attributes, and href attribute means where this a tag or a link, where this link points to. So if we want to link with, let's say Minecraft, we can say www or http www minecraft.com. I hope this is the website. I didn't know. Let me first I paste the actual link here. Save it. So you see, since we use two inline elements, first of all, they are staying in same line. They are not unlike block level elements. They are not pushing next thing into its own line, yeah, into a new line. So they are honoring their neighbors. They are cool with it. You have hello world, and since I use strong element, it's become bold. And then since we use hyperlink element or a element, for Minecraft world. So it becomes a link now. So if I click on it or click and open new tab, double click, open new tab, it takes you to Minecraft website. Yeah. So this is how you link pages. I can, if I click here, it will take me to the website. But since I didn't open a new tab, it changed my page to Minecraft. If I go back, you see this is, since I'm not doing styling at this moment, this is the default style from browser. Like make it blue, make it underline, and this default style is usually recognized by normal user. This blue thing and underline, that means it's linked, and we can click on it to request a new page or to see new page. Now, just like we did with block level elements, let's copy this documentation or shorter version of documentation, super small, and paste here. So this is the list of block level elements. Let me include this thing, list of block, oh sorry, in list of inline elements. I love block level elements too much, I guess. Properties of inline element. Let's make it H3. So B is bold tag, big, no idea what it does, never used it. Small, make the your text or the wrapping content little bit smaller in size. And this is for code. I use strong a lot, spam, and script text areas. These text areas select label, input button. These elements are used inside form. So all the forms you have seen, like login, sign up, forgot password, your profile form, they they use this kind of elements to render those text boxes, those drop downs. Image is also like very famous. This is used for rendering images. And then we have BR. This tag we used a lot. What it does is actually, let me show you. Let's say after the hello world, we want a new line. Yeah, I want do you like it into next line basically. So if I save it, refresh it, you see, hello world now breaks the line, and do you like comes after it into next line. So when we wanted a vertical spacing, like I want this thing to go more down, what we were doing in old days, and that is very bad idea. Do not do it. We just copy BR tag again and again to push this line further down, and that's not good because if we want to reduce this in this space down the road in future, that means now we go back to the code and we need to change code by deleting a lot of a lot of characters, and this is not good. Maybe these things, these BRs, this technique we use in 1000 pages, that means go edit all 1000 pages and do these 5 deletions of BR for those 1000 pages. Yeah, this is like very bad. That's why we go into the CSS world. So CSS is controlling the behavior, and if we want less space, we will just go into our CSS file, change one line, and all those pages, 1000, 1 million, they will change due to that one line change. Yeah, they will reflect that one line change and get updated behavior or updated style. So this is BR for you. Do not use it. I just show you for knowledge or example. Another another thing we use that is not actually an element was like this. And okay, you might see it in somewhere for NBSP. So and percent sign and BSP and semicolon. What it does, it renders renders a white space or just a space. NBSP, let me copy it twice and then copy it few more times. So you see it will increase the horizontal space between these two words do and you. If I save it, refresh the page. So here you will see a lot of space. As soon as I hit this refresh button, so now you see do and then there is a lot of space. This comes from the NBSP thing that we did source code. So we were using BR to control vertical space and this NBSP thing for horizontal space. Do not do it. Use CSS for these kind of things. Let me do these things as well. So these are the inline elements, and these are the properties of inline elements. They do not start on a new line. You can you already seen that. Only use as much horizontal space as required by the content. So what does this mean? If I refresh this page, so take this link tag or link element. If I inspect it, here it is. You see its width is 65. So why it's 65? Because the content inside is actually 65 pixel wide. If what I can do, I click on this double click on this Minecraft world, and now it's editable inside browser. What I can do, Minecraft server is live, and then I enter on press enter key, and this link get updated. I didn't refresh to web page. I'm just doing edits now inside browser instead of me going to Visual Studio Code and then hitting the save and then refresh here. I just wanted to show you quickly. Since I add more characters or add more words to this hyperlink, its width gets bigger. Now it's 151. And if I go and I only mine or MC server, hit enter, now width is 62. So based on how long is your text, inline element width also change. And it takes same width as your content width, yeah, depending on the length of the content. So if these characters taking 100 pixel, uh, you know, 100 pixel of space, your A tag will also be 100 pixel. Unlike block level elements, where your content could be like 42 pixel wide, yeah, 42 pixel in length. But since block level takes full available width of their container, why I'm saying container, when we check the box level element or box model, basically, box model, yeah, box model properties, this thing will get more clear. But block level actually takes 100 available space provided by their parent component or parent element, basically. So inline only take width of their content. Second, third, actually do not accept width and height. So by default, it's 62 pixel, yeah, and height is how much? 18. Let's say I want to increase the height, let's say 200 pixel. And you can see the little eye appear here, and it also like give you information. Inline property prevents height from having an effect. So I want to change its height. Right now its height is 18 pixel, but I cannot do it since it's an inline element. Let's try width element. I know its width is like, let's assume 50 pixel. I want to give you 200 pixel. And again, same information. Since the display is inline or it's an inline element I'm working with, I cannot change the width property inside CSS. Unlike block level elements where you can manage these things. Margins will work horizontally but not vertically. So why margins horizontally means, you see, we were what we were doing with horizontal spacing, we were using NBSP. few seconds ago, yeah, or a few minutes ago, I don't remember. But what we can do, if I come to this hyperlink and I say margin left, I want space on the left and maybe 40 pixel. So you see this MC server pushed from the left side. Now there is a left space. This is our actual box for this link. We are adding space outside the box on the left direction, yeah, on the left side. Instead of NPSP, this is much better approach. And now if you want space between this link box and this question mark, so we will add right spacing. We can do margin right, and we say, let's say 200 pixel. Let's go crazy. You see, now we added spacing on the right side of, and this is margin right. If we go bottom margin, now we will want to play with margin top. Let's say this is vertical spacing, margin top 100 pixel. So nothing is happening. We are not pushing from the top side. Even I can go some crazy number like 1000. Nothing. Even though it's not giving me these bubbles, but these inline elements can only take or can only honor the horizontal spacing. If you want vertical spacing, you need block level elements or inline block elements. With purely inline elements, you cannot do it. What we can do eventually, uh, using CSS display property, we can convert an inline element into block level element, yeah, or inline block. So I type display here, and these are all the possible values we can choose. So if I choose block, now you see all of a sudden we have a spacing. Okay, this MC servers adding 1000 pixel from margin top. Let's make it a little bit smaller, 20 px. Yeah. So now it's 20 pixel wide. Sorry, adding 20 pixel on the top. If I increase this, I'm holding the arrow button by double clicking the value and then arrow button, and I'm increasing the value. You see it's going down. It's pushing the space on top, so it's self going down, adding more space on the top. If I decrease it, it will go up. So now this inline elements behaving like a block level elements because I changed display property. If I turn it off, we are back again to same thing. Now let me just refresh it. So these are all the properties. Once again, do not start a new line. Only horizontal spacing means margin left and margin right will work. Also, padding will work. Let me show you padding real quick. So for padding to show, normally my favorite thing is adding a background and border. Background red. You see now it's red and border of 2px. Solid yellow. And now I change the padding 10px all around. So you see padding is working. So padding works on all sides, unlike margins, where margins only work on horizontal level. But with padding, top and bottom may overlap other elements. So you see here we have a lot of padding on the bottom. Although we provide 20px on each side, top is bit clipped because it's getting overlapped or clipped by the top level element, that is in this case the body element. So it's getting clipped. If I add some padding to body itself, we might see padding, let's say 100px. So now I say I include padding for body element. So now you see the full padding from the top of this A level element. This might get confusing for you for now, but once the box model is clear and once you play it by yourself by changing values, you will know what things to use and when to use and what are the gotchas, common gotchas, or edge cases when you run into them and what are the workouts for them. So normally uh, there is another concept that is called resetting browser default. And if you are using frameworks that you might delve into once you advance into next stage, those frameworks might come with their own CSS reset. So you might not see these things that I'm showing you right now. It depends basically, like from where you start. And the last is inline block element. So let me create a new file here. Let's call it w.html. And this one, what I do, I just copy everything from here and paste it here. So what it does, the most heavily used element is image tag. And what you can do. So about image tag, uh, this is the uh, inline block element, and these are the few properties of inline block elements. Let me show you. They accept width and height from CSS. They can also have padding and margins attached to them. Using CSS, elements do not start on a new line, and this small gap maybe you see in some browsers or something, and probably you can control them. Yeah, if you have effective CSS reset going on, do not worry about this one too much. The last point. So about width and height. In this work in progress, I already have like some code written because my previous video was had some issue that I recorded, and view was not changing, only it was recording audio somehow. Now these two images, they are sitting next to this file. So I have this WIP.html, work in progress.html, inside this inline block level folder. I copy this Golang .png from internet and just download it here, save it here. And since it's just sitting next to, it's sitting in the same folder, I can just reference it using by providing just file name like golang.png. Uh, and what other modification I have, like inside head, just like title, we have a style element, and inside style we can write CSS. Yeah, so we can write CSS here. This is actually this grayish thing with slash asterisk and then closing on static slash. This is called CSS comment, and it's a little bit documentation from one developer to another. Just like CSS, you have HTML comment as well. So block code ending here. So this one with angle bracket, exclamation mark, double hyphen. This is your HTML comment here. It will not show up in browser, but it will be available in source code of your page. So how you see source code, double click on the page, click view page source. You see this CSS comment here, the HTML comment here. Now we can just refresh our page. You won't see anything. It's already rendered inline block. So now you see these two image tags. They are actually inline block elements. They they can like take their width and height. So I'm controlling their width and height using CSS. So this image means all the images on the page should be of 200 width and 200 height. So original size of this image, the original width and height coming from the internet is like much bigger. But here I'm just enforcing this 200 by 200 size on them. And that's why like they are of this square shape. And since they are inline blocks, they are coming next to each other. Now let me full screen this thing and let's play with some CSS in browser directly instead of me writing code and then refresh page. So if I click on the image tag, I see this CSS is applied on image tags, both of them. If I select the second image, you see same thing happens. So if I disable this uh, height and then disable the width, so this is the original size. So since both cannot fit together, now they are the second image wrapped under it. It's rendering into its new line. Now, what we can do again, like if I just control their width, we are back. Uh, Now, one change that I can think of. Let me do side by side again. Let's say if I had some little tests like these are Golang images. I save them. I refresh the page. You see, inline blocks do not push any kind of element to a new line. But if I wrap these are Golang thing, this text into a p tag, since p tag is a block line element, inline is cool with it. Inline saying, okay, you can stay here, no problem. Yeah, but p has an issue because of its block nature. It will say, okay, since you are occupying this line, I'm gonna go into new line. You save it, you refresh, and you see p tag is here. Now, some properties about margins and width and height. Inline block level elements can take margins and padding. So first give them border so we can see like how spaces are like coming into action. 1px solid red. You see now both of images have border of 1px and they are solid red. Yeah. Now notice they are next to each other. Yeah. But there is a small space between them. So if I go and just type here border 1px solid red, and also this static is a universal selector. That means select all the elements or match all the elements and apply following rules to all of them. And what rule I want? I want margins to be 0 px, padding to be 0 px, 0 px mean pixels. I come here, I save the file. Okay. Now you see these images are next to each other and there is a small gap between them that was mentioned here. There are ways to like handle this, but right now I just want you to pay focus to padding, margin, and their basic features or basic properties. Yeah. So with margin, I'm saying each image will use margin left, so they will have space on the left. Margin left. So margin is actually in this case is I told you like it's a space outside the box. So outside the box means the space between two elements. Yeah. So margin left 10px. Yeah. So you see first image push from the page element or body element 10 pixel. Yeah. And then second one also pushes itself from the first image by amount of 10 pixel. So this is margin is like controlling most of the time is controlling space between neighboring elements in each direction, up, down, left, right, whatever. So now I say both images will push margin bottom. So they will push some space at the bottom. So the next line or next element on the new line will go uh, down, like will go more down amount by amount of whatever you specify here, like let's say 20 pixel or just go 50 pixel. So you can notice the difference here. So if you can see, this orange box gets bigger on the bottom side. This is the bottom margin. Same way we can do with margin top. Margin top is, say, click here, margin top 20 pixel. So if I click here and if I increase the number here by pressing arrows keys, up arrow key, you see this one is increasing. And also on the top view, we see our top space is getting increased. If I click this number and press down arrow key, so I'm reducing the number, reducing the space from top. You see it's going up and down. So sometime if you're designing your website in browser, this might come handy. Yeah. And now let's play with padding. So you see margin are taking into effect. Let's do padding. For padding, I will use, instead of padding top, padding left, and padding right, I want same padding all around. And padding is space, is actually the space of content and the border. Yeah. So here content is your image, the whatever is displayed inside the image file. So padding of 4 pixel, maybe 4 pixel, or maybe it's more. Yeah. So 13 pixel is good enough. Yeah. You can see the white spaces between border and the image itself. So this is done by padding. And if I'm writing an interesting code itself, yeah, inside browser, instead of me going to Visual Studio Code, and I'm happy with all this code that I written here, I can just select it all, copy, come here, and paste. And I can delete the old code, save the file, just format it a little bit, and yeah, that's good. I can save. And now if I refresh, I will not lose my changes because I already like copy pasted them into the Visual Studio Code. So this is actually inline block. This is most famous one. Like not most famous one, but it's uh, it's pretty good, yeah. And images, like most use element. You cannot design a website without images. Ideally, yeah. All the fancy websites you see, images are used in one way or another, either directly into HTML or coming from CSS files actually. So now let's go back and see what else we have. And I think this covers the inline block level elements. You know the margin, you know the padding, you know uh, uh, their sizes. Like if I take their sizes off, yeah, you see how they are wrapping around. And if they were smaller image, they will just like sit next to each other. These properties thing we can use display property of CSS, and you see all these values showing up here. With CSS, we can change the type of element from block to inline block, or from inline block to block, or from inline to inline block, like whatever you want to choose. So basically you can transform an element, maybe it belongs to the block family. You can assign it, you can assign it a new family. Yeah, what I mean to say, from block you can convert it to inline block. It will have all the properties of inline block, and this is here inline block. If I want these images to be a block level elements, so you see they are taking width and height that is written there, but now they are rendering into a new line, although we have a space here. So if I just disable this property, they are back to inline block because this is their default class, or their default display property. Okay, and next we will dive into CSS. So all these things that are we were using, like image, ing, and curly brackets, and all this code I'm writing in styles or inside the style tag, or we will be using CSS files, .css files, basically like here reset.css. Yeah. So we will cover this thing, or we will start covering that thing in next video. Take care. Bye bye.